I need help with a lot of things. And I bet you need help too. That's a topic I talked about a few weeks ago about what is the ways that you can best get help in your life. And I'm sure a lot of people are trying to help you with telling you what to do. They think they're helping. Getting help has a lot to do with finding the right person for the problem you have. In this video, we're going to talk about a number of practices which are here to help you and me. And they are training, mentoring, consulting, coaching, counseling, and therapy. They all have a different way that maybe they can help you. To best enjoy this video today, think about a problem that you have, something that you would like to progress, to change your behavior, change something in your life for the better. And let us see what is the techniques that can help you the most. My name is Greg Angelbert. I'm a life and personal finance coach. I share what I know about personal finance and coaching on a cup of coffee to help you live a life of purpose and build up your wealth. Okay, so we have different methodologies that we've mentioned. So now let's start with some definition to try to see a little bit what they're about. It helps set the context about what we have in mind when we were using certain words, certain vocabulary. I've picked the best definitions out there of the different practices that I've mentioned earlier because a dictionary does not always give service to those words. Let's start with training, which is a process of learning the skills you need to do a particular job or activity. Consulting is giving expert advice to people working in a professional or technical field so a person, organization can achieve their goal. Mentoring is acquiring new knowledge from experts for personal reflection and application. Coaching is building self-realization so we can create the future we want with present actions, effectively to help people help themselves. Counseling is a job or process of listening to someone and giving that person advice about his or her problems. Therapy is a treatment to help a person get better from the effects of a disease or injury. Notice that this is a noun, as there is no theraping. Do you like those definitions? Probably not if you're an expert in any one of those fields. Why? Because some of those practices actually overlap with each other and the definitions tend to put them in a box. Each one is in a box. So let's look at different dimensions that can help us understand how each of the technique, each of the practices can help you and me. The first one is to ask versus to tell, which is whether the focus is on inquiry versus sharing knowledge. On the tell side, we have training, mentoring, consulting, and therapy. What do they have in common? It is the why you do it, which is acquiring internal and external knowledge. On the ask side, we have coaching and counseling. The why you do it here is mainly about acquiring internal knowledge and also to gain new perspective, new possibilities for the future. But the line here is not as clear-cut as it seems. Therapy has an inquiry aspect embedded into it, and we can also look at consulting and mentoring with some aspect of inquiry. And be careful about one thing here. It's very easy to fall into the trap of wanting to have someone tell you all the answers. But you might notice that when you get all the answers, you might not do so much with everything that you've been told. It is because inherently we only do the things that we come up with. That is our psychological need for autonomy and competence in action. You can learn more about this in a video about motivation that I've done some weeks ago. Another dimension we can look at is past versus future. Looking at the past is to understand why an action, a behavior which is happening today has foundations which are coming from the past and how you can change your perspective on this past to help have a different understanding in the present. Looking at the future is usually to have a vision, a perspective on what future you would like to have and find ways to make it happen in the present. Counseling and therapy are seen as practices which are focused on the past, which are about finding trauma, issues from the past that you're carrying with you and which are blocking you in the present. Consulting, training, mentoring and coaching are focused on the future, on what you want to create for yourself in the future. Again, it's not 100% clear-cut here. Counseling, for instance, tends to involve both the past and the future. Coaching also does touch upon the past, only if to let it go, to be past that so you can create new future possibilities. Dwelling too long on the past can feel like you're carrying a very heavy weight on your back or you're shackled. Whether if you focus too much on the future, you might be trying to escape past traumas and not deal with them. When you look at your problem, finding a healthy balance between past and future might be the best way for you to tackle this problem. The third dimension is problem versus solution orientation. Looking at the problem side is to understand why the problem happened in the first place. It is all about awareness of the different elements of a situation, a behavior. Looking at the solution side is very much about moving on, acting. Here we have counseling, consulting, therapy, focusing very much on the problem side. And training, mentoring and coaching focusing on the solution side. The best solutions that we can usually come up with are based on an understanding of the foundation of the problem. So a good mix of solution versus problem type of methodologies can help you to move forward while leaving behind all the weight that you were carrying. Do you find this video helpful? Then you know what to do, and also do not forget to subscribe to the channel and put the notifications on if you want to receive content like this every week. Also check out other videos in the description from other YouTubers talking about the same concept, the same principles, and you might find that quite interesting. Let's come back to the why you would use any of those practices to help you with your problem. The common aspect of having a problem and finding some help is that usually you want to have some relief from pain, for instance, or you're seeking contentment, happiness, a level of peace. It might also be because you're curious and you want to discover new things about yourself and the world around you. Therefore, think back to the problem that you have selected at the beginning of the video. Ask yourself, what is it that you want deep down about moving away from this problem? Pain relief, happiness, peace, discovery? The why is essential for you to be motivated to be moving forward, to be changing a situation. Each of the practices use different techniques, methods to help you. For mentoring, training, consulting, they focus on a body of knowledge that they have and that they want to transmit to you, to your organization. This body of knowledge can be theoretical, practical, or experiential. Advising, sharing of experiences is mostly used with mentoring, consulting, and counseling. The goal here is more or less to tell people what to do based on what the person that he's telling knows. Coaching, counseling, therapy ask powerful questions and asking to help discover new angles about certain behaviors and situations. Deep and active listening is used by all of those practices, so it's deeply important for coaching, counseling, and therapy. It serves as creating a deep rapport between the coach or the counselor or the therapist and the person who is being helped, and at the same time it's also to help ask the best questions possible. Can I tell you which practice is the best one to help you? By now you must have realized that no, I cannot tell you that. For the simple reason that it very much depends on the type of problem that you're having and also the depth of the problem. Particularly if we're talking about behavioral issues, they can be serious and they can be based on some deep trauma, then therapy would be needed. If they are a bit lighter, then coaching might actually be good enough. Usually what happens is that you need more than one, and when you use one, it might lead to another. Each of them can be also used in combination, so they are more potent together. For instance, you can use training and coaching and mentoring together. That's a very potent formula. Let's take a personal example. When I was 17, end of high school, that was the last time that I basically ran. Back at that age, I convinced myself that running was really just not fun. It was painful, it was difficult, and I was anyway a lot more interested in getting bigger muscles than actually getting stronger stamina. And it took me 30 years to come back to it this year. I told myself many stories that I would never be good at it, that it was not really important for my health, and it was really painful, so why going through the pain? So in a way I had to be mentored by my friends. A lot of them are actually running. I even have a friend who is doing half Ironman right now, and you look at it and you say, there must be something interesting in this for all those people to be doing it. Then as I aged, I started to realize that, well, building stamina, improving the health of my heart was something which was pretty important too. Then I did some DNA tests that told me that actually the best sports that I would excel at would be endurance-based sports. Yes, that's very ironic. And then effectively I got coached into realizing what running would actually bring into my life, what would be the positive things that would come out of starting to run. And coaching also helped me to the first step, to actually go for my first running session. And now I train myself to actually understand what is the best way of running for me based on what I want out of it. So I dealt with the past and the problem to create a future full of new possibilities based on solutions. And all of that supported by asking and questioning and being told. Now that you know all about the intricacies, the different angles about all those different practices, come back to the problems that you had at the beginning of the video. Which type of help do you think you need based on what you've learned in this video? Now go find that person or multiple people that can help you with this problem. And if it's about life or business problems and it's about mentoring or coaching that you want to receive, then you can always ask me. You can check in the description about my profile. Check out first that you see the experience that I have is actually useful for you, otherwise just go pick up somebody else. I hope this video on all the different practices and techniques that can help you with a problem has been useful, and I look forward to seeing you next week for more personal finance and coaching on a cup of coffee.